Welcome back to the drama according to Kayla, where we live for slow burns, bad timing, and undeniable chemistry. If you ever finished this show and thought, oh, girl, this was good, but I need to call my girl, and trust me, babes, you're in the right space. Before we get started, I'm going to tell you again, per usual, please, make sure you go watch this show on Netflix. When I tell you, I know that my words can do it well, but the cinema that they're giving, the drama, A+, okay? So make sure you go and watch it, because we're getting right back into Can This Love Be Translated? And where we last left off, we were finishing up shooting in Canada. They went to the pub, had a good old time. Our girl left early. The Prince of Romance left early. And honestly, not gonna lie, things only picked up from there. So we're back at the hotel with Chamui, and she's getting ready to go to bed. It's about 4 a.m, and out of nowhere, the TV flicks on. And you know what's playing? Yeah, her movie. Her movie starts playing in the background, and she's just so confused because, come on, it's 4 a.m. She's a star, but why are we playing this? All of a sudden, Dorami breaks the fourth wall. Looks at her, gives her a little chit chat. You sure have been spending a lot of time with him, thanks to me. And you even got to kiss him, thanks to me. And Chamui's starting to freak out a little bit, y'all. She's just like, okay, girl, enough. Girl, I can't take too much more now. I'm already in a fragile state. And Dorami's just like, no, go on. Run away like you always do. Pretend you don't remember. Don't remember that you kissed him. None of that. Doesn't matter. No. And honestly, Chamui is trying to run away. She gets in her bed. She gets under the covers. She covers up. She's like, no, this can't be happening. And if I don't see it, it's not happening. Duh. And so as she's taking cover under the covers, Dorami says, come. I want to show you something. My girl is hesitant, and I don't blame her. Once again, it's giving that whole little grudge ring, the ring thing, whatever. You know which one I'm talking about. It's giving that. And so she goes, come on. I want to show you something. Chamui slowly starts to peek out from under the covers, and we see Dorami on the screen. It looks like she's still on the set of her movie, but she's doing her thing, honestly. She's walking through. It's like this dark alley type warehouse thing, really damp, dank kind of thing. And then she keeps walking down, click, clack, click, clack. And she comes up onto the interpreter. And the interpreter's in a hostage situation. I'm talking chair, hands bound, ankles bound, here against his will. Next thing you know, Dorami pulls out a gun. Yeah, we're playing roulette now. Question number 1. Do you care if she leaves? The interpreter looks. Silence. Bang, nothing. Question number 2. She leans in a little bit closer, and she tells him, she kissed you. Do you not even care at all? Does she not mean anything to you? Silence. Bang. Nothing. Question number 3. You said you would never ask her out, even if somebody threatened you to do it. Is this you holding your promise? Bang. Nothing. Question number 4. And at this point, I ain't gonna lie to you. Chamui is freaking the freak out, okay? This is not what she signed up for. She went home to get a little early night's rest, catch that plane, get back to Korea, not even think about the mess that has been made. But here we are. So back to question number 4. Do you really, truly, honestly, not have any feelings for Chamui? But then Dorami turns around, faces the screen, breaks the fourth wall again, and goes, I think you already know the answer to that question. Bang, shoots the screen, and we are taken back in time. And we see young Chamui, at least we assume to be young Chamui, young girl on the balcony. And she's like falling off. She jumps off the balcony basically. And we want to know what the heck is going on. What is this young girl escaping? And quite frankly, is anybody going to help this baby? But alas, we must go to sleep and start a new day again. It's the morning that Chamui and her manager are supposed to be leaving back to Korea. And we see them all packed up, waiting on their ride to go to the airport. I don't think Chamui got much sleep, if we're being honest. But she's kind of in her mind. We can tell she's in this weird little headspace. And so her manager comes up to her and she turns to him and she goes, "Hey, quick question. I know I might sound a little crazy, but are there any auroras in Korea?" And her manager's like, "No, not even in the slightest." Oh, good. Because I do not need a chance to think about that man again. Hello, we've gone through enough, right? So just as she feels so secure and safe in the fact that obviously we're never going to see an aurora in Korea, she's kind of evaded this whole situation and she gets a little break from him. Beep, beep, guess who pulling up? Yeah, her man, that's not her man. To take her to the airport, girl. We didn't even think this was happening, okay? Because remember, we was at the pub. She left early. They didn't even speak. They haven't even spoke since she had kissed him. And he pulling up to take her to the airport? Yeah. So he got out the car and he goes, "Hey, you want me to take you to the airport?" And she, of course, yes. She left them bags, hopped in that front seat. Her manager's like, "Hey, yo, what? Hello, what's going on?" She said, I'm gonna meet you there. So they in the car. And you know what's good about a car ride? Closeness, intimacy, just you, me, 1, 2. We get to talk about what's really on the mind. No judgment, no audience, just us. And as they're driving through, quite honestly, it's just so beautiful. I tell you, and I tell you time again, the cinema, the scenery, the landscape, it's just honestly so beautiful. They're driving through, getting to the airport. The sun is shining. They're having a nice old time. This song is playing in the background. It's allegedly some singer named Corey Lane. I'm not going to say that I actually looked it up and found out that wasn't even a real singer, but anyways. This song is playing and they're absolutely adoring it. The song's in English. Chamui is like, what's this bop? I love that jam. And he's like, "Oh man, nah, that's my boy Corey Lane. He really put out the bops for real. This is a good song." And in English, the words, T, right? And she, "Oh yeah, let me put this on my Spotify." While we here, go ahead and subscribe. Subscribe to me on Spotify. Subscribe to me on Apple Podcasts. Period. And so they're just driving, whatever, chilling. There's an elephant in the room, obviously, but it's just kind of dancing around before it gets addressed. And so, you know, my girl, I'm not going to say she don't waste time. She wasted a little time this time, not going to lie. But she don't waste time. She gets to the point, and she's an honest girl as best as she can be. And she asks him, and she goes, "You must be tired. You were out drinking all night, you know, having fun. Everybody was celebrating. I can only imagine that you're tired, especially considering that I left before you." He goes, "Oh, no. I honestly, last night, I didn't even drink. And I went back early too. But the only reason I didn't even reach out to you was just because I knew that you had left earlier than me. And I just didn't want you to be up. I wanted you to get some rest. I didn't want to bother you, quite frankly." And so as she's listening to him, she's beginning to start this rationalization process in her head. She's trying to decide and convince herself that, you know what? Maybe Dorami was wrong, okay? She doesn't know what she's talking about. This man cares for me for real. This was just some type of illusion, okay? He didn't even say anything because I wasn't him. Maybe he does like me. Maybe he does care for me. And so as she's having this little moment where she's reasoning back and forth in her head, the interpreter goes, you know what? It's just so unfair. Truly, it's just so unfair. And we're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Brother's coming with the heat. What's going on here? And he continues, how could you threaten me and then leave as if nothing ever happened? Now Chamawi's freaking out. She's freaking out because she's like, what? Huh? The gunshot? Huh? I didn't mean to leave you. And he says, no, yes, actually, it was like a gunshot. You kissing me was like a gunshot, just absolutely unexpected. There was nothing that I could do to avoid it. And then you just left me with the damage of it. And she's like, oh, girl. Ooh, you just talk about that kiss, baby. I was lost in my head for a second because, that night we had to. And she's listening to him. She's like, okay, calm down. He's just talking about that little kiss. Not about that roulette session. And as he's going on, he goes, how could you shoot somebody and walk off? I mean, first of all, you already know I'm bad with directions. And you just left me there? You dead left me there. For real? And she's like, she's a little bit more calmer. She's a little bit more rational. She's like, no, remember, listen, I told you. Dorami made me do that. That's not me. That wasn't me. I wouldn't do nothing like that. That was Dorami. Come on. And he goes, you know what? And honestly, that's you. That's your thing. That's what you do. And she's like, no, I really genuinely, listen. I wanted to talk with you. I wanted to find a way through this, but I was just honestly so embarrassed and I didn't know what to do. So the only thing I felt that I could do was just to avoid you and hope that things eventually smooth it over. And he goes, no, honestly, really, this is you. This is what you do. I'm noticing your patterns. Like, girl, give me a break. Here we go again. If I want to be a beautiful, self-sabotaging girl, who are you to point me out on my flaws? You're just my man. That's not my man. Come on. And he's like, no, this is your thing. You're the type of person to act on a whim and then to deal with the fallout of acting on a whim. You just like to pretend that nothing ever happened. And quite frankly, I came here to make sure that doesn't happen again. And she's like, okay, so I have some not great behaviors, but you weren't even going to ask me how I slept? Hello? Because if you were wondering, if you was just a little bit curious, I didn't sleep good either. Thank you for asking. That's right, girl. Deflection queen. But unfortunately, as we know, he is a very rational, black and white kind of guy. And he says, listen, I mean it. Don't run this time. And she's like, don't run. We in the car. What are you talking about? He's like, don't run this time. But I'm the type of person who needs to think before they speak, okay? So just give me some time to process my thoughts before I make a statement. And she's like, okay. As he continues, which is why I am going to do something that I never, ever thought or said that I was ever going to do, which is have a conversation with Shinji soon. You know who she is. I'm not going to do the introduction. And you know what? The reason I want to have this conversation with her is because I don't ever want you to think of me as some pathetic and helpless guy who can't fend for himself or who is just too lost in his own emotions. No. I'm a real man. Honestly, she's just sitting there a little shocked, taking it all in. And she's like, okay, we're trying to figure out where is this leading to? He's not quite clear with his emotions. And it's like, are we? I think we're leading into something special. This feels like the moment where you're beginning to resolve emotions and feelings that you had with another person in order to set some clear boundaries, to start something anew with your girl. So, I don't know. It's challenging even as a viewer because it's like the words aren't exactly put there and we're left to read in between the lines, but we can only hope for the best, right? And so she's just like, okay, cool. And as they're riding along this road to the airport, this Corey Lane fella is playing on the radio. She's enjoying it. Head out the window, letting the breeze blow through her hair, letting the breeze blow through her hair. The music's going, and they just both have this sense of contentment, happiness, and almost even glee on their faces that they're in this space. And honestly, we kind of have Dorami to thank for it, right? So we get to the airport, he drops her off, and my girl is on cloud 9, maybe even 10, okay? She's already downloaded the song to her spotters, okay? She's listening to it back to back. She is just so proud, happy in the face. Like the girl, she's genuinely content. And our girl deserves to be happy, period. No and, no buts, no if. She deserves to be happy. So she's sitting there, and her manager finally finds her, and he's like, yo, bro, what are you doing? And she headphones like, oh, I'm just listening to this new song. I heard it in the car with the interpreter. It's this Corey Lane guy. You know him? This is a good song. He said the lyrics is he's what are you doing? And she's like, I just tried to tell you. What I'm doing. He goes, no, listen, babes. As a friend and as your manager, we need to have a chat. Let's sit down. Let's talk, okay? Because I care and love for you so much. Like, you know, I want you to be happy. I want you to be successful. We need to have this chat. And she's like, oh, okay. I was kind of in my happy place, but like, whatever. And he goes, listen, the wedding's off. She's like, what? The wedding's off. I overheard a conversation with Shinji Soon, and she was talking to her fiance, well, now her ex, and the wedding's off. They're not getting married. Okay? I don't want you getting hurt. I don't want you getting caught up in this mess. I'm telling you this because I care for you. And as you might know, it is very much so much harder to move on from a person that you've been trying to get over, especially when said person becomes single. And Chamui's instantly deflated. And honestly, girl, I feel the same way too. Because you mean to tell me and my man, that's my man, finally have a chance at being in true, real love together? And then this come up, like, girl, and he told me he going to talk to her. So what's to stop her from telling him, I'm not even with my mans no more, so what's good? Like, girl, you ain't even supposed to be here for real. So immediately deflated. Instantly starts spiraling. She crashing out a little bit. And she goes, you know what? I gotta go. Her manager's like, girl, we have a flight to catch. She's like, I gotta go. Books it. Runs. I don't think she ran. Let's be honest. She got a cab. Runs back to the hotel. She's looking for him. The producers, they're like, oh, baby, I thought you was already gone. They tell her where they think the interpreter might be, XYZ. And then we see the interpreter. And he is in this space. And honestly, if we could take a little sidebar here, I would genuinely love to go to Canada and just do like a little sightseeing tour of everything that was shown in this movie, LOL, that was shown in this show because it's kind of cutesy. I want to, let me live in the moment. Let me live in the fantasy. But anyways, he's in this bookstore, which seems like it's in a auditorium kind of thing. Like, I'm saying auditorium, but it's really a theater, like think the Met or something like that. And it seems like it's been repurposed or something. There's bookshelves, and it's like a multimedia type of thing where you can buy stuff. And we see him looking at the cover, the album for the song that they listened to in the car. Yeah, that Big Corey Lane. And he picks it up, and we can see the contentment in his heart because it's all over his face. And as he's grabbing it, he gets ready to go and check out, and guess who's arrived? Guess who has arrived? Yeah. Shinji Soon is here because, they're supposed to meet, they're supposed to talk. So he goes to check out. They grab a little table off to the side, have some little coffees or teas or whatever, and they begin their chat. As they sit down to have their chat, guess who also arrives? Yeah. Our girl, Chamui. And as she looks around the room, scans, she's going high and low, she finds them and she realizes that she's too late. She can't stop the inevitable, or what she believes to be the inevitable. And let me tell you, emotions are high. You already know what I'm finna say. Because you know who says hi when emotions are high? Yeah, Dorami. She shows up. And she does what she does best. She really gets up in that head for real. And Chamui is trying her hardest to hold on to the things, the memories, and all the beautiful experiences that they just shared together. Because that's what's important right now. That's what matters to her right now. That's what holds them together, these experiences. But Dorami says otherwise. As usual, Dorami gets up real close and she goes, isn't this so painful? Isn't this just so agonizing? I mean, honestly, you should just run away. Run away. Go, leave, run, like you always do. Because, I mean, if we're being honest, maybe happy endings just weren't meant for you. And maybe they are, but quite honestly, maybe this just isn't your happy ending. Have you ever considered the fact that perhaps that instead of you being the main character in your show, you're just a side character in his? Run. Go. Do what you do best. Leave. As usual, Chamui is getting overwhelmed. This is just too much. Because as hard as she's trying to hold on to these memories, these experiences, the beautiful things that they shared, the waterfall, all the cutesy stuff, Dorami is very persuasive. So our girl, she gets up and she runs. She leaves. She wants to not even be close to this side ever again. But as she's leaving, she runs into one of the waitstaff. Causes some commotion. Coffee spilled, cream is spilled. There's, coffee and cream all on her jacket. Quite embarrassing, but the commotion was just loud enough to get the interpreter's attention. And he realizes, yeah, Chamui's there. So he leaves this conversation and he runs after her. They run into each other outside. He calls after her and she's just like, listen, it's fine, just go. And he's just so confused and concerned. He takes a little napkin. He takes something, I don't even remember. But he's trying to clean off her jacket. He's trying to get her to clean off her jacket. And he's like, hey, slow down. What are you doing here? What's going on? You're supposed to be at the airport. You're going to miss your flight. Like, what's happening? And she's trying to do the thing again where she writes him off. Remember when we had first ran into Shin Ji-soo last episode and she was giving him his jacket back because she was ready to write him off again? She's trying to do that same thing again. It's like, listen. I know she's not getting married, okay? Go, be happy. I don't want to stand in the way of things. She didn't say that, but that's basically what she said. That's what we're going to sum it up to, okay? So yeah, she's basically like, no, you go. You go. Be great. There is no need for you to cling to anybody in order to avoid her. Just chase after her. Go. Go. And quite frankly, I really do hope that things work out this time. Girl, not even 10 minutes ago, you was cheesing all over this boy. Now it's go be great. I hope things work out. Be for real. That ain't what you came here to say. And he calls her out on that. He tells her no. Remember when we had talked in that car not even 10 minutes ago? And we talked about not running away, standing 10 toes down, having those tough conversations. I know for a fact you didn't come all the way back over here from the airport just to tell me to go be great. So please tell me what it is that you truly want to say. And at this point, I'm not going to hold you, girl. The interpreter, he's getting a little upset. We can see it in his face. He's fed up's not the word, but he's definitely irritated. Yeah. So he's like, so tell me, what is it that you want to say? Go on. And she looks at him and she starts thinking. And in the back of her head, we hear Dorami. Go. Run. Run away like you always do. She takes a deep breath and goes, you don't really like me very much, do you? And you know what? I'm ashamed because I've done the same thing. I pulled the same card, girl. I've done it. I'm sorry. I've done it. My go-to line was, you hate me, don't you? Soon as a boy makes me mad. Soon as the boy do something I don't like. Soon as I'm not getting you hate me, don't you? Yeah, girl, I get it. All right, go off. She's like, yeah, that's what I came to tell you. That's what I came all this way to tell you. You don't like me very much. There's no way that you could. Quite frankly, it hurts. It hurt me. It hurt my pride. I was excited, fired up for us, whatever this is. But now my pride is hurt. I even had hopes of maybe something. But now that the wedding is off, I just feel like this just couldn't even be possible. So, go. She's waiting for you. Go. I talked to you before you even got a chance to talk to her, but I got here and I'm too late, so just go. And the interpreter is just, you know how you hear something and it's just like you're genuinely you're in disbelief. Like you're trying to make 1 and 2 4, but it just don't make sense. And so he takes a moment and he goes, okay. She continues. And honestly, Dorami has been taunting me about you, telling me how much of a fool I am, how this would never work out, this thing between us. It could never work out. And I didn't believe her. I never could believe her. She couldn't be right, but right now, honest, I think she might be right. And so the interpreter's listening to her go on, and he's got that face of when you hear something and you can't make sense of it. Like, you're really trying to add up all the pieces, but there's just no way. There's just no, and you just can't believe what you're hearing. And so as she's speaking, he cuts her off and he goes, wait, no, stop. Let's just stop. Let's just end it here. I don't want to keep carrying on the way that we're carrying on. I shared and stated my thoughts on Shinji soon. And let's just leave it at that. Our boy's getting real firm, real stern with the girl. Oh, she's curious and she goes, well, did the talk at least go over well with her? And he goes, no. We don't get to discuss those details anymore because we're done. We're not carrying on how we used to. I stated my feelings. I'm not going to feel guilty for them. But now, since you said how you felt, I've decided it's best that we just don't continue. Because quite frankly, it doesn't even matter anymore. Before, when I was seeing you. You wore your heart on your sleeves. Okay. Crying, laughing, all the good stuff, right? And I accepted it. I took it in. And quite frankly, it got to a point where I was just so fascinated by you, in awe, enamored with you, with you, preposition you. So much to the point where I began to worry for you, care for you. And then eventually I gave in, and I just really, really wanted to care for you. I did. I wanted to care for you. But now I realize I was just swayed by emotion. And I was swayed by your emotion, because that's not me. So let's just end things here for the best. Y'all, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I cried. I freaking cried. I was tearing up because I said no. Y'all, I was finna cry. Not even finna. I was tearing up because it's like we were just so close. We were just so close. We shared the kiss. We shared the emotion. We had the beautiful car ride. And then, So she looks up at him. She's got some tears in her eyes, bro. And so does he. That's what made this even more emotional, because even the interpreter, this is how we know it was true. This is how we know it was genuine. He had tears in his eyes as well. She looks up at him and she goes, this is just like that day when we met on the island. And we were standing on opposite sides of the train tracks. And I told you to go to her, go for her. You know, do the things that you need to do for you. And just like that day, you left. No goodbye. And he looks at her and he goes, no, today is nothing, absolutely nothing like that day. And honestly, don't even brush it off like it's nothing, because I feel wronged. I feel hurt. I feel misled. This isn't nothing, and this isn't that day. And honestly, he don't ever pop off like this, especially towards her. He don't ever pop off like this towards her. So she's shook. I'm shook. We all finna cry, if we're being honest. And he looks her in her eyes and he asks her, are you sure? Are you sure that Dorami was right? Because there's a chance that she could be wrong. Are you certain? Because honestly, I hope it's not true. Because I'm still rooting for you, Chamui. And he walks off. Girl, I felt that in my gut. I felt that in my gut, bro. Oh, girl. And Chamui's trying her best not to cry. She's like, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. She leaves. She heads back to the airport to try to catch a flight. She runs to her manager, and her manager's like, listen, I got us another flight. A little red eye stops off in Japan. And she breaks down. I'm talking fetal on the concrete, okay? The girl is toe up and hurt, and he knows it. He knows it. He already knew what was going to happen from this, and he was trying to prepare her. But honestly, had he not said anything, we could have still been in bliss. He just cared a little too much, but he had to say, yeah. So as she is heartbroken, crying outside the airport where her manager, we flip the perspective back and we go back to where they were having that conversation. And this is when we learn, y'all. This is when we learned that our girl was actually wrong. She read the situation so stinking wrong. While he was having that conversation with Shinji soon, he told her, listen, so long as you were in a relationship, I knew that I could keep myself steady. I knew that I could remain somebody who was just unshaken, unmovable. Nothing could bother me because I was very firm and steady in who I am and what it is that I do. Nobody was penetrating this little fortress that I've created for myself. But then I met somebody, and this person just keeps popping up, seeping in, shaking me up. And no matter how hard I try to keep this person out of my bubble, it doesn't work. And honestly, this is just something that I'm trying so hard to feel steady, but I can't feel stable no more. And I have to lean in. And in order to lean in, I can't allow you to take space in my life anymore. Y'all, he was setting that hard boundary with her. When a man loves you or is genuine about his feelings for you, he don't have no problem setting those boundaries and telling the people that he cares about, hey, listen, I care. You're just not the priority right now. And that's the conversation that he was having. It wasn't to get some feelings off of his chest. No, not that. No. It was to make a clear line that there was never going to be anything else between them anymore outside of a working relationship, perhaps even friends. Nothing more. So back on the plane. We see our girl toe up sad. Business class sad. Okay, she with a glass of champagne. Business class sad. Curled up in her personal seat. Business class sad. And as she's just so, ooh, boo-hoo, we see this figure of a man start walking towards her. And once again, I'm not going to beat around the bush. It's the Prince of Romance. Come on now. Love triangle. And he goes over to her and he goes, hey, you've been so down. Is everything okay? You honestly haven't moved a bit since you've been on this flight. She opens her eyes. She looks at him. She grabs his hand and she pulls him in. And then we go to black. And all a girl is left to think or imagine is, are we moving on so quickly, so fast? Is this our bounce back? Are we going to go to him since, we got turned down for the umpteenth time? I mean, I'm not going to lie. The Prince of Romance is starting back to grow on me again, remember? After that little shenanigan thing he did before. He's growing on me, so what's the vibes? What's the move? So everybody's back in Korea, and we see the interpreter go to comfort his brother. His so sad brother, because he lost his girl, and his brother, he's, remember... Yeah, I mean, if you remember, because that was so way back when. His brother's the very eclectic type. He's definitely a social media boy. And so he's posting his little sad boy pics on, Instagram. And he's like, I'm just so sad, and I just don't want to keep all these emotions on the inside, and I just want to get them out of me so that I can feel and breathe, because I'm just so sad and so heartbroken. And his brother's just like, bro, that's weird. No, dude. And honest, his brother's ragging on him because he's like, you need to let your emotions out more. Like, you need to allow people in. Like, you got everything bottled up because you're Mr. Put Together, but I know that's tiresome. And he's kind of reading his brother for filth, the interpreter. Well, he's reading the interpreter for filth. Let me not confuse the terms. And so, funny enough, you know who is also putting their emotions out on the internet? Chamui girl. She's posting her sad girl pics. She's posting her little melancholy flowers and stuff. And her manager sees it and he's like, yo, girl, you have got to chill. And if anything, we both know for a fact this is not how you get his attention. That man don't even be on Instagram for real. So, like, what are you doing? Who is this for? Who is this for? And as your manager, quite frankly, you need to be toning this down a bit. We got sponsors watching your page. When you posting all this little sad girl stuff, girl, you messing up the brand. And she's like, okay, I know. You're right. And so, she ain't got no problem asking. She's like, you haven't happened to hear from the interpreter, have you, since we've gotten back? And man, just like, I mean, we kind of text. We don't really talk, but we text. And she's like, oh, well, what y'all be texting about? Well, got some plans coming up. She snatched that phone. She go through it, girl. We find out that he is moving in with the interpreter. And she's like, what the heck? You weren't going to tell me? He was like, first of all, I didn't think this was information that you needed to know. Let's start there. I did not think that this was information that you needed to know. Second of all, what does it matter? I'm just staying with him for just like a brief period. I had a contract for a new spot. Contract fell through. He's just helping me out during this little brief moment. And she's like, okay, no, it's cool. And I'm cool off you. You good. Go ahead home for the night. I know we're supposed to go to this event tonight, but from one of the sponsors, we're supposed to do that together. Don't even worry about it. I want to go by myself. He's like, bro, what? She's like, yes, by myself. I need a little space. Thank you. Love you. Bye. Now, we are at this concert hall and we see the interpreter on the phone with his brother. He's calling him up, trying to get in contact with him. And he's like, bro, where you at? We see his brother walking around with a little baby on talking about some, oh yeah, no, I'm not coming. He like, dude, we are here for you. How you not gonna be here? And he was like, yeah, well, I've just decided I'm going to Santiago. He's like, Santiago? What the heck? You're the one who invited me and Granddad to this concert, and you just not gonna be here? You gotta at least make it up to Granddad, because he came here and you feeling bad invited him out here because you done canceled the wedding and ain't explained nothing to nobody. So like, how you just not gonna show up? He being all cool and collected, and he was like, I've had some thoughts, did some thinking, had a little self-reflection, journaling maybe even. And I come to realize that Shinji-sun is right. She was right. I was the one who broke up with us. I was the one who broke up with her. And we get this little flashback. And it's them sitting down at a little cafe. And remember, or let me remind you, actually, he's a little bit self-absorbed. Pretty boy, And sitting down at this table talking about the invitations for their wedding. And Shinji-sun is like, don't you think we're moving just a little bit fast? Because remember, he was like, yeah, let's get it on, let's get it popping. And he's like, yeah, but you said that you wanted to. Like, you said that this is what you wanted to do. Okay, yeah, so like, yeah, I said that this was something that I wanted to do, but it's not something that we had to rush into, right? Like, doing something and rushing into something, different vibes. And honestly, tell me, why do you even want to get this, like, do this so fast? Like, really, like, ramping up the speed on this. He's just like, in his phone or whatever, and he don't even really pay her any mind, but like he don't pay her no mind, not really even looking up at her. And it's just like, oh, because you said you want to get married, and quite frankly, if we don't do this now, then I don't think I ever want to be married. Yeah, that wedding's off, that relationship off, that little thing we got going on off. I don't blame her. It's off. It's done. I done put up with you long enough. Off. What do you mean? You're so selfish. He's so selfish. So yes, he was correct in his reflection. He's the one who really called it off. His brother's like, all right, man, you know what? You do what you gotta do, dog. Safe travels. We'll be here at this concert you invited us to and ain't even showing up to. Have a good night. And so as he gets off the phone, we see him being approached by the ambassador of Italy. And we're like, all right, we knew our boy had motion. We knew he had that Mr. Worldwide motion. Ambassador of Italy come up to him and he like, hey, yo, bro, how you doing? Good to see you. Dapping it up. And so, they chopping it up or whatever. And the ambassador's like, look, bro, I know I invited you here as a guest, but honest, you mind if I ask you for a favor? And the interpreter's like, yeah, nah, what's up? And he's like, listen, I have an interpreter that's supposed to be here with me. I would like to greet the audience before the concert begins. But he is running late. He's stuck in a town and he's about an hour out. And I just know for a fact he's not going to be here on time. Would it be possible for you to interpret my greeting to the audience? Is that okay? I'm so sorry to ask you to work on such a night off, like da-da-da-da. I just want you here as my guest. I'm so sorry to ask you of this, but I knew you were the only one that could help me and do it well. And the interpreter's like, of course, no problem. Let me just run up to where my granddad is in the seats. And I'm just going to let him know, we're going to handle up this task real quick. And then I'll be joining him at the beginning of the concert. A little after it starts. And he's like, okay, perfect. And so he goes up to the cute little balcony seats to go see his granddad. And just as he's about to go through the door, like the little archway entrance, I love those, to their row of seats, guess who he sees sitting next to the empty seat where his seat would be? Our girl. The sponsored event that she was invited to, same concert. The sponsor, ambassador of Italy. Therefore, too, of course, all the seats of his invites are going to be near each other. Duh. And so he sees this. And he just kind of, I don't know, like, you can't tell if it's like disbelief, panic, or honestly, I don't know, but he doesn't go over. He doesn't go over at all. He just leaves, goes down to the stage. The concert's beginning. The lights come down low. Ambassador of Italy is on stage. He's speaking to the crowd. The orchestra's all set up, right? He begins speaking to the crowd, and then the interpretation begins. And as Shamui is sitting there, sitting cute, sitting pretty, she hears his voice come across the theater. And she goes, oh, hold on. I know that voice. That's my man. That's my man. Is no longer my man. Yeah. That's him. He's here. He has to be. It has to be him. But she can't see him because, as the interpreter, you're not the main, star of this, right? You're just the means in which the message is being passed. And so he's behind the curtain doing the interpretation. And so she truly believes that this is him, but she has no way to confirm it. Now, she kind of sat up in her seat a little bit. Her interest was piqued. And who else's interest was piqued? Granddad's, because granddad knew from the jump. Remember when he was like, there's just so many languages that we need to learn to speak and to understand everybody. I seen the girl on your Instagram page. Is that Chamui Dorami girl, the big superstar? I seen you on her page, like da 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 da. He know it's something going on there, and he know how his grandson is, and the fact that she's sitting right there. Oh yeah, you know granddad ready to play matchmaker. So the concert comes to an end, and there was this assistant that was helping Chamui get around, and there was supposed to be this nice little private event that the ambassador and his wife were throwing for all of their guests and stuff at the concert hall. And obviously Chamui and stuff was invited, and so the assistant's helping her get around, and she tells her, before the event, if you'd like to go say hello, and thank the ambassador, give us nice little greetings or whatever, and just talk to him, have the opportunity to meet him, I can take you there to meet him. And she's like, oh, I mean, my English isn't that great, will there be an interpreter present? And the assistant's like, yeah, of course there's gonna be an interpreter there. Yeah, he came with his own interpreter. And she's like, perfect, right? But she's like, not like a happy-go-lucky perfect. It's like a perfect, right? And so the assistant is leading her towards the ambassador. And as we get there, we have this little slow-mo scene, the little heels clacking as she's going down the aisle, the hallway. And we see this from behind this figure of a nice, well-put Asian man. He's got his suit on real professional, like he's here to work. And as the assistant comes over, makes way for Chamui, introduces her to the interpreter. The interpreter turns around, and babes, it is not our interpreter. Not our man. That's not our man. That's not our man. Not him. Whole nother interpreter. The ambassador's interpreter. The one that he was waiting on? He finally showed up. I mean, I guess at the end of the concert, but he finally showed up. And Chamui's a little deflated. She's like, ee. She be plotting and planning. And so she was hoping that she was going to see him. But it didn't turn out that way. And so they gave the little greetings, like da 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 da. And so the assistant is walking her to the elevator now, because she's like, listen, it's no obligation for you to go. I know your schedule is so busy. I know you're tired. I know you just got back. Like, girl, get some rest. I understand if you don't want to stay. I'll explain it to them. No pressure at all, right? And so she's standing in front of this elevator, and she asks the assistant, she goes, quick question. Do you know if there were if there were different interpreters tonight? Like a different one who started at the concert and a different one who is with the ambassador right now. Like, by chance? And the assistant's like, girl, honestly, beats me. I'm just running around doing the stuff they tell me to do. It truly beats me. And she's like, oh, okay, yeah, no, that makes sense. It's okay that you don't know. No worries, Absolutely no worries. You know who overhears this conversation? Yeah, granddad. Why? Because I didn't even give you the full setup. It's 2 elevators. She in front of an elevator. He in front of an elevator. Double elevator vibes. And he's sitting there on the phone. He on the phone, and he calling his the interpreter grandson to come pick him up. So he like, yeah, grandson. Yeah, I'm here. I'm on the elevator. You think you can give me a ride home? He's calling him by his name because obviously they know his name. I didn't want to confuse y'all. I didn't want to confuse y'all with too many names. So grandson, interpreter. Cool. And so grandson, can you come pick me up? I'm in the elevator. I'm finna come down to the parking garage. Grandson. And Chamui's like, interpreter grandson. And granddad know what he doing. He know how he's setting that thing up. And so interpreter on the other side talking about no, bro, just get a ride home with Mr. O. I got to get up out of here. And he's like, no, I can't get no ride home with Miss O because Miss O done already left. I need you to give me a ride home, grandson. And so he's like, oh my gosh, okay. And so elevator door opens on granddad's side. And so Chelmy looks to the assistant. She's like, all right, thank you so much. Boom, hops on the elevator with him. And she's like, I think I'm gonna go down. And he said, oh, okay. What floor you going to? She was like, yeah, same floor. He already knew what was up. He trying to play like he ain't know. So they come down and he turns to her and he's like, yeah, there are two different interpreters. And she was like, oh yeah? And he was like, yep. And then the door opens up. Interpreter's on the other side of the elevator door. He goes, yeah, there go the other one right there. The interpreter is like, you got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. And so they leave together. Granddad invites her over to their place for dinner. And she's like, you know what? Absolutely. I am a bit hungry. I'd love to come over for dinner. And so the interpreter's like, no. And Granddad's like, yo, stop being such a sourpuss, bro. Like, we just gonna have some dinner. You know my grandson cooked real good, don't it? And she's like, yeah, I've heard that. They just in each other's faces. And I love this because honestly, this is how I would be too if this was me in this situation. Yes. I would be doing the exact same thing. And so Granddad, grandson, he cooked real good. He said, what you want, what you like? And she said, it don't matter what you make as long as you make it spicy. And he, oh yeah, girl after my own heart, make it spicy. He turned to grandson. He like, all right, you heard her. Make it spicy. We got some of this, some of that. Grandson's like, no. He's like, yes, we do. Go get in that kitchen. Make that food and make it spicy for my girl. Gets to work in the kitchen. Granddad and Chama, we sit down for a little second. They're getting comfortable. And then Granddad gets a call on the phone. He said, oh, I'm so sorry. I got to go take this. I'll be right back. Make yourself at home. Make yourself comfortable. Our girl ain't got no problem making herself comfortable. And so she's like, okay, of course. And she starts walking, looking around and stuff like that. And interpreter. So at this point, honestly, there is just I'm going to be honest. For this part, I'm going to have to look at my notes because this was it wasn't like super multi-layered conversation, but this was like a read in between the lines conversation. And I don't want to mess up the analogy that was being created. I mean, I told you to watch the show, so don't blame me if I get it wrong, but okay, just bear with me, all right? Let me set the scene. So she goes into the kitchen. The interpreter's prepping, and, pot's boiling on the stove, chopping, mixing, stirring, right? Time when she comes in, she's trying to be cute, cool, casual, and she's like, wow, this is just like so cool. Can I help? It's like she went into the kitchen and imagine your man is cooking and he's making like, I don't know, hot dogs or something, right? He's making hot dogs. He's, I don't know, boiling or grilling. Actually, let's talk about it. Wait, no, let's talk about it later. Anyway, so he's making hot dogs. Okay, let's stay focused. And let's say he's pulling out all the ingredients, the mustard, ketchup, all that. And it's like, she's just like, oh, wow, picking up ingredients. Bottle of ketchup. Oh, wow, this is so cool. Oh, my gosh. Do you need any help? That's what it was like, okay? And he, straight to the point, cutthroat. No. Go sit down. You're a guest of Mr. Kim. So go. Be a guest with him. Rude. He's so freaking rude. Like, he always trying to be mean and stuff. And you know what? I didn't forget the whole interaction that we just had. But, like, still. He's still being mean and rude. Like, be nice to her. Be nice. She's just a girl. And she's like, oh, well. But, it just... she's getting all close and getting all up in his space next to the stove. And she's like, but it smells so good. And he's just like, there is literally nothing in there. Literally nothing. So what are you talking about? Like, girl, I'm not going to tell you this again. Just go, sit down, go away. And so as he's telling her this, he, boom, turns the stove off. And she goes, why'd you turn the stove off? And he's like, because I got to let it cool so I can season it. It was like a little kelp soup. So, like I know. I was like, yeah, but this broth, it hasn't even started yet. Just like, girl, if you don't go somewhere and sit down like I had already told you to, like, go sit down. And she's just like, you know what? Mr. Interpreter, I get it. I don't listen sometimes. I take little sips out of the broth. And maybe, just maybe, I might have turned the heat off prematurely in the relationship. But couldn't we just let it boil just a little longer? Just a little longer instead of letting it cool off? I mean, it would just be a waste to stop after one taste. Reaches over and she goes to turn the stove back on because she want to let it boil. I, in fact, turned it off at the perfect time to let it cool. No guilt, no shame. And he reaches over and he turns the oven right back off. Now our girl's getting upset for real. She getting upset because for one, she not getting her way. And number two, what do you mean? Perfect time. Perfect time? I know what we had was kind of still special. Why are we just gonna give it up after a little spat? She go fight for her little love or whatever. He was like, no, that's not true. That is absolutely not true. He was like, I mean, it's just water with kelp. Nothing to it. He's a black and white kind of guy. And so she's just like, no. Okay, so no, it's not true. Yes, I did kiss you once. Ugh. So like, it's this kind of double layered thing of like, I want our relationship to keep, I want us to keep trying to get this relationship and you're ready to take it off the heat immediately. And it's not that it doesn't mean anything. You're trying to make it seem like what we had doesn't mean anything. But to me, it means something because we shared a kiss. So there's no way that this can just absolutely mean nothing to the both of us. Clearly, our emotions are high. So like, there's just no way. You're being really cutthroat. You're being very short, and I don't believe you. And she don't believe him. I don't believe him. I don't, hey, that's just me, as if you were longing for the love that they share. They sit down for dinner and Grandpa begins talking about how they had once when they were younger as a family traveled to Canada. And he's just like, conversing with the interpreter and asking him like, did you guys get to go to that park that we had went to when you were younger? And he's like, yeah, we went. He's like, did you get a chance to see the waterfall, that we had went to? And he was like, I tried to find the waterfall, but I couldn't find it, so I didn't get a chance to see it while I was up there this time. And Granddad's like, man, that's a really great spot, bro. Like, it was just nice, beautiful view, beautiful view. And as they're speaking about this, Chamui zones out. Because she too remembers that portion of the trip. She too remembers looking for that waterfall with him. But she remembers finding that waterfall. She remembers finding it. Because remember, she was scooping up the water from the little pond and letting the water fall from her hands. So yes, they found that waterfall together. She's still even thinking about this as they're wrapping up from dinner. She goes to the sink, rinsing her stuff off, and she's just letting the water run off of her hands in the sink. And all she can think about was, yes, we did find that waterfall. Why does he keep acting like nothing happened? And so she's just sitting there, just kind of spaced out. And under her breath, she goes, the waterfall that we saw together it was nice too. And the interpreter's like, what? No. We did not see no waterfall. Oh, no, but we did. We did see the waterfall, and we agreed that it was the waterfall. I know that you remember, because we saw it together. And he's like, you know what? No, girl, look, I'm done. I'm done humoring you. We did not see no waterfall together. Point blank, period. He's saying that, he's like walking over, turns the water off that was running off across her hand, running down her hands. So, about the concert, did you come there to the concert to interpret because you knew I was going to be there? I mean, you've done it once before, so I don't think it's crazy of me to ask if you're doing that again. And he was like, yeah, no, ain't even like that, girl. It is not even like that. See, now you just getting your head kind of inflated. It wasn't giving that. No, it wasn't never for that. And so she was like, okay, well, if it wasn't for that, then why didn't you come and sit next to me during the concert? That was your seat, right? Next to your granddad? That's what it was supposed to be for you. So why didn't you come up and sit? Got him. It would be awkward. And she was like, okay, well, if that's awkward, and it also awkward that my manager is moving in with you, don't you find that awkward? Like, that's my manager. You don't think I gotta see him, spend time with him? Don't you think that you're gonna end up seeing me even more? You think that sitting next to me at the concert is awkward? Let's try moving my manager in. And the interpreter's like, whoa, shorty, whoa, chill for a second, because your manager even told me that I wouldn't necessarily have to worry about you being over all the time because you ain't never visited your manager at his house, his previous place, ever. So why would you start showing up at his house now? So no, I'm not worried, and I don't think that part's gonna be awkward. And honest, it's real bold of you to come over here with your little assumptions, assuming what things is gonna be and what they not gonna be. That's real bold of you. Honestly, if you really think about what you're doing here, don't this sound a little crazy to you? Like, you don't think that's a little crazy? And she's like, you know what? I don't care. I don't freaking care, because I'd rather come over here like a crazy bitch and leave with my dignity intact. Call back to episode 1. Yeah. Because her emotions matter. Her feelings matter. Crazy or not, they matter. You know, and I'm hanging on to the last thing that you said to me that day. You know, when we had our little spat, you said you were going to cross for me. And so she storms out. And then she storms back in, turns the water back on, and then storms back out. Honest, my kind of tantrum, girl. It's genuinely my kind of tantrum. So now we're back in the living room, and Chamui and Granddad are sitting next to each other, and they're signing autographs for each other, and it's just absolutely so cute. So Granddad's signing a copy of his book to give to Chamui. Chamui's signing a paper because she doesn't have any like merch and stuff with her, and she's like, listen, when I get back to the office and stuff, I'm going to make sure that they send you so much like personalized merch and stuff like that. Like, this has been such an honor. I'm meeting an award-winning novelist for the first time, and this is just so exciting. And Granddad's like, no, it's not. And she's like, no, it's not what? It's like, no, this isn't your first time meeting an award-winning novelist. And she goes, how you know that? And then he points to grandson, the interpreter, and he's like, he's won an award for his novel too. And she's like, novelist, interpreter, award winner? And interpreter, he is so peed off. Like, he's just like, bro, don't even stop. Just stop talking. Just like, stop talking. Shut up, Granddad. Silence from you. You're cut off from talking for good, right? And so he's like, no, it's not even that deep. Like, it was literally only one novel, and I wrote it in college. And Jamawee's like, no. I'd love to read it. Like, where can I buy a copy? He said, can't. Ain't no way you can buy a copy. It's not in print no more. So, shut that down. Over with. And so she's like, okay. And granddad's like, don't worry, girl. Don't worry. Come by my studio later this week and I'll give you a copy. I got a couple copies of them back at the studio, okay? And she's like, okay, yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. Give me a little copy, right? So they just really kicking and having a time. It's real cute and stuff. I mean, for Chamui and Granddad, Interpreter is so freaking over it. And so Chamui's like, can I post your book on my Instagram? And Granddad's like, oh my God, yes, I would absolutely love if you posted my book on your Instagram. Like, that would just mean so much. And she was like, no, I would love to do that. Like, I'm loving this. I'm loving this interaction. I'm loving this vibe or energy. Yeah, I'm loving it. And so then Granddad asked, he's like, should we follow each other too? And she's like, no. No, I'd love to. I really, really would. I'm really loving this, but I can't follow you because I don't want to get too much heat on my account. I've got the sponsors and stuff, and I don't want to get too much heat on your account too. Like, ooh, who's Dorami following now? Like, da-da-da-da-da. And he's like, yeah, no, I get it. You gotta do what you gotta do, big superstar. You gotta do what you gotta do. But, you and the interpreter are following each other, right? And she's like, no, we don't follow each other. And Granddad goes, well, he does. He at least follows you. And Chamui's like, what? He follows me? No, me? No, me? And Interpreter is like, silence from you, right? And Granddad's like, no, I seen it on your page. You do. And Chamui is like a little embarrassed. She's like, oh my gosh. I'm so sorry. Like, I didn't even know. And he's like, well, we made a promise back in Japan. I'm a man of my word. I've held the promise. Yeah. Now I'm following you. And she's like, you can see she's getting a little emotional because, yeah, same girl, same. No need to explain. Like, of course she had no idea that he ended up following her because, remember, her life changed literally overnight. And so it's just kind of one of those it's kind of like a little sticky moment that they just gotta sit in, right? And so the interpreter is like, all right, Granddad, I think we should start wrapping this up now. And Granddad's like, you know what? You're right. I should wrap this up. I gotta get home. My show's gonna be on soon. New episode dropping tonight. And Chamui's like, wait. What show you talking about? And he's like, oh, it's this little, this little reality show or whatever. And she's like, oh my God, I love that show. And he's like, oh my God, you love that show? I love that show. We love that show. We should watch it together. She's like, yes, girl. Yes, let's watch it together. And Granddad's like, yes, perfect. This would be perfect. I'd love to spend more time with you. I just got to go get my glasses out the car. Grandson, can you go get my glasses out the car? And the interpreter's like, yeah, of course, Granddad, I will go get your glasses out of the car. So the interpreter goes out to get the glasses, and then Granddad just ends up going out there with him, right? The interpreter finds the glasses, and he turns to Granddad, he goes, you seem to be really enjoying yourself in there, huh? You've had a day, you had fun, but it's time to go home, all right? And Granddad's like, well, yeah, you know what? You right. I should go home. I should go ahead and get out of here while I'm out here. But you go back inside and keep that nice young lady company. Don't let her be in the house all by herself. Keep her company. And the interpreter's like, oh, brother, please give me a break. And so then Granddad calls him out too. And he's like, you left that seat empty at the performance because you didn't want to sit next to her? Like you didn't want to be next to her? What is it that I'm not understanding? What is so hard about this? What is so hard about this? Is this girl really that hard to read? Like, truthfully, like what's the hold up? And so the interpreter's like, okay, so remember that day when we were talking and you were like, there's like a bajillion different languages for the bajillions of different people. And it's learning to understand people and who they are, like da-da-da-da-da, in order to understand their language. Granddad's like, yes, of course. I'm that guy for real. Oracle of wisdom, right? And the interpreter is like, yeah, I don't understand her. I don't understand her language. I don't understand what she be speaking. Every time that I think that I do, every time I think that I get close to understanding her language, I don't. I approach her, right? I think she's interested. I start going for it. Then she turns me down. Now it's like she's not interested. And then she's interested again. And I can't keep doing this little back and forth because I don't understand what this is about. It's either like yes or no. Yes or no. Yes or no. What is all this little in-between stuff? And so Granddad's like taking this in and he's like, wow, you really are like irritated that you don't understand her 100%. Like you don't understand her language 100%. That's gotta be tough. Especially for somebody like you, an interpreter. Is that something that you can be okay with? Is that something that you can sit with? Just not understanding her language? Because in order to understand the language, you need to know the syntax, the vocabulary, the grammar, the punctuation. Because honestly, how is this any different from any other language? I just don't think you're taking the time to break this down, look at it closely, and really study it for real. But what do I know? What do I know? Okay, well, if I go in there, I have zero idea of what I'm going to say to her once I'm in there. Like, what do I even say? So while they outside having this whole conversation, y'all done left Chamawi alone in that house, girl. Y'all done left her alone in that house. So you know she snooping. She's snooping. And so as she's looking around and stuff, the interpreter has this nice little vast record collection next to this record player. And she sees a certain album for a certain song that a certain somebody's know together. Yeah. We talking about that fictional Corey Lane. Yeah, Big Coco. And she's like, oh my God. He's got a hardcover of the song. Wow. And then the music starts playing in the background and she's like looking through his stuff and he's standing outside just perplexed, trying to find the words to say to her and really piece it all together until eventually he doesn't walk in the house and Chamawi's just like, you know what? It's time for me to see myself out. So she leaves with her belongings and she tells him, you know, this is great. Thank you so much. I'm going to get going. And just as she's walking off, he calls after her and tells her, wait, Chamawi, wait. And she's like, yes, what's going on? And so remember, Granddad gave her, the signed copy of the book. And so she takes the book and she puts the book behind her back. And he's like, wait, what are you doing? And she's like, I'm not doing nothing. Not me. And he's like, no, you're being suspicious. Like, what are you doing? She's like, bro, I literally just said I'm not doing anything. So I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing anything. He goes, so what do you have behind your back? She's like, bro, I ain't got nothing behind my back. Like, why you think I'm trying to hide something? You think I'm trying to hide something? You trying to accuse me of something? And he's like, no, let me see. And she's like, no, because there's nothing to show. Like, what are you freaking talking about? And so then he tricks her, gets her to turn around, and he goes, aha! You were hiding something. Snatches the book, opens it up. She took the album. She took the little album, because it's like one of those smaller ones. She took the little album and put it inside the book. And he's like, wow. You know what? Wow, this is just unbelievable. This is absolutely unbelievable. And she's like, okay, all right, okay. I'm sorry. Dang. He's like, this is just unbelievable. I try to look closely at you, but just no real intention or anything like that. And I managed to catch a thief. You can't make this stuff up. And girl, if we being for real, I gotta sneeze. You really have a knack for driving me insane. You drive me crazy, girl. I mean, so we continue. She's just like, look, bro, if you're not gonna turn me in for stealing, can I just go now? Because this is just embarrassing at this point, bro. Like, can we wrap this up? And he's just like, no, here, take it. Just take it. Because I actually got it as a gift for you. And I wasn't even sure if I'd even give you the gift. I didn't know what I was going to do, but lo and behold, here you are in my house freaking stealing it. Typical. Like, oh, well, thank you for the gift. I love this. Thank you so much for the gift. Thank you so much for the dinner. And I'll have to make it up for you. I'll have to make it up to you next time. And he's like, next time? And she's like, yeah, next time. I mean, since my manager's moving in, I can do a good housewarming for you guys. And I'll bring over something super tasty to eat. So next time. So she leaves. She gets in her cab that she called. And she's getting a little giddy all over herself. Because, you know, she thought she was just going to be stealing. Come to find out this was a present for her all along. And she's like, yeah. You know? And so then she opens up the album. Girl, the album was still on the record player. All she got is a sleeve. And she's like, all I do is embarrass myself, bro. All I do is embarrass myself. And so the interpreter goes back in the house and he's just, this girl, bro, this freaking girl. And he looks across the albums and stuff, and he sees the record sitting on the record player. And sidebar, when I was little at my grandma's house, they had a bunch of records and stuff, especially my aunt in her room. And I'd be like, y'all, auntie got some big CDs up in her room. And my aunts and uncles and stuff, they were like, what? I said, auntie got some big CDs up in her room. Big old CDs. And they were like, sweetheart, those are records and albums. Please don't make us feel old. But she had big CDs. Anyways, so he realizes that she left the album on the record player. And so he immediately calls her and he's like, hey, how far away are you? And she's like, I'm literally almost at my house. He's like, you know that you left that record? She's like, girl, I know, enough. I know. He's like, well, you can't just have an empty sleeve. Here, since you're almost on the way home, I'll just come meet you at your house and I'll bring you the record. And she's like, no, you can't do that. And he's like, what are you talking about? I'm already in my car. I've got it. Like, I'm headed to the car right now. I'm finna head out. You don't want me to come? You don't want me to come over? You don't wanna see me? You don't want me to bring the record? And she's like, oh, yes, I want you to come over. Like, you're like, oh, okay, so bad. Send me the Addy. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna text you when I'm pulling up so you can come down. You can come get it. And she's like, okay. And so she's getting all giddy. And so She comes back down from her apartment. She's standing outside waiting on him. And while she's outside waiting on him, this car pulls up in front. And it is not the interpreter's car. This car pulls up. Windows tinted, car, dark, whatever. Windows roll down. We see this woman. And this woman turns out and she looks and she goes, Chamui, your uncle is here to talk to you. The girl can't never just have a good night, a good day, a good experience without something or somebody trying to come and harsh the vibes, ruin the moment. And you could tell, like, literally when she saw them, her heart dropped. And I don't know if we've said this yet. We mentioned it briefly, how basically her family don't like her, you know, after her mama died and her daddy died. And it was like, it's all your mama's fault. And we don't really care for you. And she was like, did nobody really care for me anyways? And I just be playing dumb anyways. Yeah, this auntie uncle, this auntie uncle that didn't care for her, right? And so now they pulling up at her doorstep, heart drop, because she don't want nothing to do with them. They don't want nothing to do with her. So why are they here? Okay? Don't be coming for the kid now that I got a little money. And so they're like, get in. So she gets in, and our girl is so nervous, so anxious, like picking at the fingernails and everything. And remember, the interpreter was like, I'm gonna call you when I'm pulling up. He's calling, no answer, straight to voicemail, hanging up on him, straight to voicemail, no nothing. And now he's like concerned, because this could be one of two things. Something could actually be wrong, or she doing that thing again where she pushed me away. And either way, I don't like either of it, right? But like, our girl, she's sitting in this car. We don't know what's going on yet, but she genuinely seems like she's scared. Like, she's genuinely scared for her life. Like, it's something. This is a threat, is what this feels like. This is genuinely a threat. And so, honestly, I think this is where I'm going to leave you. So we have a lot of moving pieces once again. It looks like their sparks are being reignited. There feels like there could be a possibility that, like, this situation might have a little weight in what's going on with whatever auntie uncle got to talk about. So we're going to get into that in the next episode. And honestly, friends, I think I'm going to try my best, because we're so close to the end, surprisingly. We're so close to the end. I'm going to try to wrap this up in maybe one, max 2 more episodes, because there's this other show that I really want us to get into. Oh, but this is so good. I'm enjoying this. I hope you enjoy it too. Don't forget to like it if you enjoyed it. Give me 5 stars. I'll see you in the next episode. Love you. Bye.